I shouldn't call these death vlogs, I should call these I summarize my tweets from this week vlogs. Hi, it's me, your girl. I'm back with another devlog, and this week went by so fast and the whole 2 videos per week thing is working out so great. I hope this video will not break the 30-minute mark, because there is quite a lot I want to talk about, but at the same time I need to get this done pretty quickly because there has been a slight emergency, so yeah, let's see what we can make of it. And I want to get the most important thing out of the way first, and it is that this week wasn't very good. It was actually quite bad, to be honest, and I would love to say that, oh, this is so unexpected. But this is 100% my fault, because I saw this coming, that this week is not gonna be very good, but I didn't prepare, and yeah, so there are 3 reasons what could have happened this week, and maybe it's a combination of all 3, but I just wanted to kind of talk about this because even though this is mainly like the progress of my game, because I am a one-person team, my personal, basically how I felt that week, contributes a lot to how the progress is going, so I feel like I need to address this kind of thing. And again, there might be 3 reasons what could have happened this week, and one of them is the weather. It has been very rainy and dark for the past 4 days. Monday was fine, so that it could have been that. Because, like my parents, I am very sensitive to changes in the weather. The second thing is something that my mom mentioned yesterday, but I'm not entirely sure about this, because I would have hit a low the week prior if that would have been the case, and that's that my calorie intake has been lower because I'm trying to lose weight, but I don't think that that's the case because, again, I ate the same the week prior, so maybe it hits just a week late, but maybe it could be that, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so I can't rule this out. And the third thing, which I personally think is the most likely, is sad boy hours. And by that I mean it's a very short depressive episode, and I don't want to call it depression because I have not been diagnosed and I don't know what it is. It may just be like a performance low, but I call it sad boy hours because I'm very sad, and it lasts usually for a day. Rarely, like this time, it lasts for a whole week, so that's not ideal, but I can't do anything about it. So yeah, I don't know what causes this sad boy hours thing, but I know that during the sad boy hours I am very low on energy, I have a very low mood, and I have a hard time to concentrate. I have not been very productive, and it hit me on Tuesday, and Wednesday was the worst day, which led to me being productive for 2 hours on that day. And the other hours I spent basically in bed because I had a migraine. I couldn't do anything. I was sick. I thought that maybe I have just gotten the flu or something. But because I'm fine 3 days after, 4 days after, I don't think that that's the case. So TLDR, this week wasn't good. And I don't know what other people would do in my situation, but I don't see the point in feeling bad about this. Because yeah, this week wasn't good, but if I keep wallowing in, oh my god, this week wasn't good, I'm not gonna be doing any productive work. So the only thing I can do is try to make next week better, and that's it. Basically learn from my mistakes, there's nothing else I can do. And the mistake is being unprepared for this kind of stuff, so yeah. I'm not really sure what I should do, but I'll try to make it better. So let's get into this week's tasks. And this week I spent mostly writing the synopsis for the story and doing a little this and that. Again, I mentioned that this wasn't very productive, and I'm really sorry that I can't provide any actual progress, but we have to make do with this for now. And this week I got a better idea of how the story's gonna go. I finished up the rest of the mood boards. I thought about a few new game mechanics which could make programming the story a little bit easier for myself, and it also makes the story flow a little bit better. Then I started implementing chapter 1 into Twine, And I did a little bit of research on visual novels, including how sprites are made, about CGs, how many CGs I need, about backgrounds, the amount of backgrounds, and the general length of these games, which can range from 2 hours to 40 plus, which wasn't really helpful, but okay. Then I spent approximately 6 hours on project and file management, 10 hours on writing, 3 hours on game art and research, 2 hours on game design, no hours on coding this week, 2.5 hours on social media, and 12.5 hours on miscellaneous stuff. It didn't feel like I spent 10 hours of writing, but it surely felt like 12 hours of doing literally nothing, again because of the Wednesday situation. So I think I will rename social media to something else because it feels like I'm just sitting at my phone and not doing anything. But in truth, I'm kind of preparing social media posts for my, in quotes, business account because I'm not very active on my personal private art account, which is my bad. But yeah, I spend a lot of time on Twitter. If you don't follow me there, I spend a lot of time complaining about making the game. And also lately about energy drinks. I spend a lot of time complaining about that. So if you want to follow me on social media, my links are down below. You'll get a little bit of more of a private, in-depth view into the game development process, if you're into that kind of thing. Also, I forgot to add one thing the first time I was recording this video. And that's the fact that I totally forgot that I had a Trello board. Actually, the girl who calls herself a project manager, has forgotten that I do task tracking. Well, the reason for that is because I do track my progress on my phone with an app and on a notebook by hand. That I totally forgot about, oh yeah, I have an actual Trello board. And the reason for that is because there aren't very many tasks to keep track of as of now. So I kind of just forgot that I had it. I think in the first week I checked off some tasks, but then around maybe Thursday of last week, I just forgot about it, and it's kind of embarrassing. And then we'll not delete this board because it might come in handy later in game development when I have actual tasks to track and not just, pre-production. It's not hard to keep track with an app on your phone, which just keeps track of the time. But keeping track of what I did in the notebook does take from 5 to 20 minutes. So, yeah, spending more time on more project management tools wouldn't be very clever in this situation. And speaking of early in development, as I mentioned, I am currently in pre-production. I kind of came to realize basically what the hell am I doing with this game? Why am I trying to completely write the story in 3 weeks? I don't know. Why the hell am I trying to make character placeholders of all things, which I don't even need yet, instead of making, like, I don't know, the project schedule? Basically what happens, like I hit an epiphany, basically, that I've been kind of going around this pre-production thing a little bit weirdly, which is pretty embarrassing because this isn't the first game I've done. This is like the 6th game I did. And the 3rd game I did, well, basically the 2nd game I did project management on. No, it's actually the 3rd game. Yeah, it's the 3rd game I did project management on, and it's very embarrassing that I kind of handled the pre-production phase this badly the 3rd time around. But I think the reason for that is, without blaming anyone, it's just kind of I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. I think the problem is that usually my team that I work in spends maximum 1 week on pre-production because, again, the team wants to make the game. And I think this is what kind of went downhill, that I tried to make the game in the pre-production phase, which is not the point entirely. I think next week I'm going to try to salvage what I can of the pre-production phase. Basically get everything that I can done, because I have like 2 weeks of like spare weeks and I don't want to waste this on pre-production. I would rather use these 2 weeks for example, for the beta phase, where when I notice that, oh, this is not gonna get done, so I will not use my spare weeks for pre-production, and I will try to do the best that I can before continuing in the prototype phase. where I will make the prototype, so I can show you even some things later. Again, as of last week, I don't have very much to show you, especially because this week has been quite unproductive. But I think I will finally show you the mood boards because I have finished them. And I think they, A, are nice to look at, and B, there are mood boards, so maybe you'll get a better feeling for the direction the game will taking. And C, it's basically all I have to show you. So even if you don't want to see them, I don't have anything else basically at the moment. So, and it doesn't take ages to explain like the Twine prototype because it's basically like bare bones at this stage. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna leave them in the background while I continue to talk. My thought with this game is that each of the chapters is going to have a specific color theme that should represent the content and the feeling or atmosphere. Sorry, I just came to hate this word during studying game design. Hey, it's Christina from the future. While editing the following part, I noticed that I forgot to mention that the chapters also correspond with the characters. Every character has an accent color. One is red, one is yellow, one is blue, and one is purple. And the chapter color also represents, for example, the red character is gonna have his character arc in the red chapter and so on. So that's just all I wanted to kind of shove in before we get to the mood boards. So yeah, I gotta go, bye. Because the characters wake up in prison from which they escape from, I thought about making the prologue a clean white with some specks of color because it's going to have this clean, creepy, clinical look. And I personally really like that. And at the end of the prologue, the color starts to transition into softer pinks and some purples, because how could I not have purples in my game? No, but seriously, the pinks and purples should give everything a kind of ethereal and dreamy look for the first chapter, because it fits both the in-game time, which is like sunset, sunrise, and it's also kind of this, is this really happening? Which the characters are kind of thinking to themselves in the chapter. So I thought that might be fitting. And chapter 2 will be red as we transition slowly into nighttime again. And the reason for that is because red is such an intense color, but it's not so harsh because the previous color was mainly pink. So I thought the transition to red makes sense. And I also really like the combination of black and red in environments, so yeah. Chapter 3 will be yellow, and I find it hard to explain why, but I think in environments, yellow, like green, makes everything look kind of unnatural, but not the same way as green, but more often like the sun is setting, day is coming to an end, kind of unnatural, like is this really happening? While green, which is going to be the main color of chapter 4, is more like this technology kind of matrix-y vibe. Which is also the reason why, I wrote in paper on that, why the Matrix is mainly hued or like tinted green while it's in the Matrix, because it has this technology green unnatural look to it. And chapter 5 is going to be blue. I didn't think of it that way, but thinking about it right now, the chapter is kind of a little bit of a downer. In America, I think you say to be blue as another way to say someone is sad. But in Germany, to be blue means to be drunk, so it's kind of like I didn't think about this. But someone pointed this out to me on Twitter when I was talking about blue raspberry, and now they're sad raspberries. So yeah, this chapter is going to be a little bit of a downer, and it's also blue because I find it easier to transition from blue to black, because the epilogue is gonna be black. And without spoiling too much, the reason it's going to be black is, one, it mirrors like the darker tone that the story will take at the end, and also it's a nice contrast to have after the prologue, which has been pure white basically. I personally just really like when games have like color coordination, to say it like this. I really enjoy looking at color stories for games. I think it was like a screenshot of BioShock, I think, where they had like one environment which was mainly dark and green, but it has red highlights, and I think this looks very nice. And I personally just enjoy colorful level design, so there is no concrete reason, and the reason why the colors are arranged in the way they are is mainly because the game started out, like the early concept for Dead on Arrival was a Vaporwave inspired hack and slash game. And the main colors in Vaporwave are pink and blue, and I kind of wanted to like connect red and pink and blue with green and yellow, so that's where we ended up. So there is no concrete reason to why I'm doing this, it's just it looks nice. I'm really sorry if this doesn't like satisfy you in terms of an argumentation, but it's all I have. Also, I wanted to keep the environments mostly vibrant. I have written this in my pitch and also in the game design document, because the characters themselves are gonna be monochrome. They're not like typical, let's say, anime protagonists where they're very colorful, but like I said, each character is gonna be monochrome and they have an accent color to them. They wouldn't stand out very much from the background if they were also colorful, or if the backgrounds would be like gritty and dark. So I wanted to kind of keep a contrast. Also, my point of the story for the story is to keep it as lighthearted as possible. I think lighthearted is the wrong word, but like it shouldn't take itself so seriously, because I have noticed the trend. Like nobody has said this to me, but I myself have noticed this. That everything what I do kind of is very like serious and dark, and I want to kind of make a lighthearted game that doesn't take itself very seriously. Because I personally like media that is like not very serious. I mean, serious moments are okay, but not like through and through serious. And the last thing I want to address before I drift even further from the devlog topic on hand is that I mentioned that I wanted to do task-oriented days. And it may be because this week was so bad, but I don't think that it's that reason, but this didn't work at all. I tended to notice that I work in bursts, so if I want to write, I should write, and I shouldn't say, oh no, you can't write the story now, you have to do research on visual novels. And yeah, so this didn't work, and I'm not gonna continue doing that for the next week. So I hope that increases my productivity, which has been sitting at around 50%, which I have been told that this is good, but like for freelancers, but I personally think 50% is like alright, if that makes sense. I want to increase my productivity maybe to 60% this week, or like the next week, the third week. Yeah, so let's see if that works, because at this point everything is becoming trial and error, and I think this is all. Sorry if I missed something, or if I, like, especially at the end, turned into rambling, but my mind has been all over the place since Thursday, so I'm not all there. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm signing off, and I will see you next week, or if I manage to make a second video on the weekend, we will see each other in the next video, whatever that might be, and I say bye.